Hi everyone, so this is my second time recording this, but this is going to be a video on my birth story of my daughter. She is actually right here, but so if you hear any baby noises, they're from her. So my story starts on a Friday night, and it was about 7 p.m. when I started having contractions, but at that point I didn't know that they were real contractions. I thought they were still just Braxton Hicks like I'd been having all week. I was 38 weeks and 2 days on that Friday. So I had contractions, or like Braxton Hicks. They were really far apart. They were like 10 to 20 minutes apart. So they started getting a little bit closer together, and I think at like midnight I downloaded the app to time your contractions, and they started to get to be like 7 to 9 minutes apart. And so then it was like 1 o'clock, and I had finally realized, I was like, this is more than Braxton Hicks, and they haven't stopped. It's been 5 or 6 hours at this point. So I texted my husband, who was at work, and he was like, I think you need to at least call the nurse. So I called her, and she had the doctor call me back, and she also agreed that I should probably come in at that point if it's been that long, like 5 or 6 hours with consistent contractions. So I told my husband, I was like, you can just keep working. Like, there's no point for you to come home early. This is my first baby. People say it usually takes a while for your first one. So we weren't in like a huge hurry, but I wasn't gonna go to sleep. I slept like maybe 20 minutes that night, and then it was like midnight and I got up. I was like, I'm not gonna sleep, I might as well get up and move around. I needed to do my laundry because everything I wanted to take to the hospital was dirty. So in order to pack my bag, I need to do laundry. So I got up at like midnight and I was like, I'm not gonna sleep. So I did my laundry, packed my hospital bag, packed a baby's bag because I was not prepared. I thought we had at least 2 more weeks. So my husband got home in the morning and we got ready. We were planning on installing the car seat that day. So we installed that quickly. Then we got our bags packed, got in the car, we went to the hospital. We were like a half hour away from the hospital that I was gonna give birth at. Hi. You're okay. So we got up, got ready. We got to the hospital at like, it was like 7:30 when we got there, and we had to check in through the emergency room. So we checked in down there. She showed us how to get upstairs. Neither one of us have ever been to this hospital before. And okay, she spit up. You're okay. So we got to the hospital and we got checked in downstairs. We went up to the labor and delivery triage room, and the nurse came in. She took my history, she was taking my vitals, and she put the bands on for baby's heart rate and to measure my contractions. So it was very validating to see on the screen that my contractions were like actually happening, and you could see like the buildup and the come down of them. And my husband was actually sitting there and he's like, oh, you're getting one. And I was like, I know, I'm getting a contraction. But you're wide awake now. It's okay. So then she had the doctor come in and she checked me, and I was 5 centimeters dilated when we got there. I was fine at that point, just breathing through them. So I initially declined the epidural, and I was like, we'll reevaluate later. So I was in there for a little bit, and then they moved me to the actual labor and delivery room where I would give birth. And I'm trying to film a video, miss. Where's your paint? So they moved me in there, and I got the like ball, and I was bouncing on that for a little bit. I walked the halls a little bit. We stopped 3 times in the hall for a couple of the contractions were like back to back. But anyway, it was getting really intense in there. And when we got back from our walk, I determined that I wanted the epidural. So I told the nurse, and she was gonna have the anesthesiologist come in. And they were not very busy. We were like the only person in active labor, and they had someone that had just given birth. But so the anesthesiologist was really quick to come down. It was like maybe 30 minutes later, and she came down, and I got the epidural, which was really hard. I was having really intense contractions and trying to be still and have a needle in my back. But that went really well. So I got that, and then I laid down, and are you okay? You want your baby back? So I laid down, and I asked the nurse, I was like, can I take a nap? And she was like, yeah, but I was still feeling every contraction. So I never actually napped, but I was able to close my eyes and like get a little bit of rest. So I laid down, I closed my eyes for like 20 minutes, and then they brought me like clear liquid diet. So they brought me like chicken broth, flavored ice, apple juice, and Jello. And so I think I took 2 bites of my flavored ice before the doctor came in, and as she was walking in the door to ask me how I was doing, my water broke. So she said, I think it's time to check you again. So she checked me again, and I was 10 centimeters dilated, and she said, you're ready to push. So she left the room. I did a couple practice pushes with the nurse, and I don't think I pushed for more than 10 minutes, and she was out. So it was a really quick, it wasn't painless, but it was less than I was anticipating it was going to be. But she was born at 12:28 p.m. on a Saturday. I was 38 weeks, 3 days. So we were not planning on bringing her home for another 2 weeks or so, but she decided to come a little early. But everything went really smooth. We were both perfectly healthy. We stayed for 24 hours and we were discharged. She had to stay for 24 hours to do the required newborn screenings at 24 hours. So we got all that done and we went home. For my first experience, I have no complaints. I'd do it 1,000 times again, but thanks for watching, guys.